How's it going, everybody? JT here on behalf of the EV Mavericks Discord and the R Ethereum Daily General Discussion representing dailydoots.com for this January 16th. This is our 135th episode. It's our second episode of season 3. We're damn glad that you're all tuning in on X, Twitch, and YouTube. Today, we are joined by Mahesh Murthy from Karma. Karma is where the builders get funded. And we're going to talk to Mahesh a bit about his origin story. We're going to learn what Karma is. And we're going to learn finally how you can get involved and take advantage of their products. Mahesh, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Hey, so Mahesh, we were talking just briefly before we started the live show. Today I learned something that Mahesh is a pretty common name in the south of India. Tell me again how many people with your name were in class with you in school?
Growing up, there were 4. At one point, there were 4. There was always been 2, I would say, but there was like a couple of years when there were 4.
Right on. Well, we have the same problem in the United States, especially in the Midwest. You might have 3 or 4 Johns floating around, and there's a small pack of Kevins over there. But we got Mahesh Murthy here, who's a unique person unto himself. So I always like to ask our guests, not so much like when did you learn about Bitcoin or anything, but what did you do prior to Karma? And as far as like a pre-crypto world for you, what were you doing? Where were you going to school for? And where'd your journey start?
Prior to Karma, prior to crypto, I was a software engineer. That was my profession. I went to college, got a degree in computer science. I went to grad school to University of Iowa.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Go Buckeyes?
So
No. Is that right?
Hawkeyes.
Hawkeyes. I knew there was eyes in there somewhere.
I've been writing code for a really long time. I'm a software engineer by profession.
So as a Midwest kid, I'll just say, like I was just next door to me to the north. What did you think about Midwest culture while you were studying there?
Very interesting. So I flew from India right into Iowa City in the heart of the Midwest.
Yeah.
It was quite a culture shock. But it was fun.
Imagine.
Good, big school. Quite an experience. I loved it.
Yeah, that's a big university. They got a lot of students there. All right. So then fast forward out of there, you were in software engineering for a variety of companies, or what was your first main gig doing that?
Yeah, I was a software engineer at this company in Chicago called Orbitz. Not the chewing gum company, it's the travel company. Now they're part of Expedia, I think.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've used them before.
Yeah. So, I was an engineer at that company. It was great. And then I joined another startup in Chicago. After that, I started another company. I started a company with a couple of my co-founders in Boston. It was in the golf space. I was a co-founder CTO. We used to run golf tournaments for non-varsity college kids and high school kids, and I was building out the whole software for that. Um,
Everything from
yeah,
T formation to T time, or team formation, who's on the team, like scheduling and
yeah.
all of the plugins for like promoting it and advertisers and sponsors and whatnot. That's fascinating. Good for you.
The scoring system. There weren't that many like team-based scoring systems. We had our own unique way of scoring. Like it was fun. So I did that for a while. We sold that company, and then after that, well, by then I was kind of deep in crypto already. So it was a natural thing to jump in 24/7 into crypto.
Yeah, you're like, I did this. I can definitely do that. And yeah, that's fantastic. And sorry, the year again? The
Um,
switch?
Oh, Karma has been around for 4 years now, so 2022. But I had my first entry into crypto was 2017, end of 2017, 2018, when Ethereum started taking off. I used to hang out in ETH Dev,
Yeah.
Reddit bit. I had a small company to teach blockchain programming to developers, like writing Solidity smart contracts and things like those. That went on for a while. So I've been in this space for a while.
Do you know Evil Jordan over there on ETH Dev, moderator Evil Jordan?
Yeah.
We sniped him. He's now in our Ethereum mod too. So shout out to Jordan. So cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So you at that time, those early years, 2017 for sure, we were all shit posting on ETH Trader too, which was like the trading side of things. And I don't know if you have much of a
I
Reddit.
remember,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
remember there was one slash Ethereum, and then it was like devs were there, traders were there, everyone was there, and then it kind of split off into
Yep.
two subreddits, I believe.
That's correct. So
Yeah.
Ethereum became the technical sub, and then ETH Trader was the price and discussion and memes, and then ETH Trader had a split of which myself and 5 or 6 other moderators formed ETH Finance, and then
I
like
remember.
2 or 3 bear markets have happened. And then Reddit as a whole got real quiet. And then Evan Van Ness from Week in Ethereum News dropped me and 5 other moderators off on the doorstep of our Ethereum to take the daily general discussion of ETH finance and port it into our Ethereum, and we've been there ever since. And it's been a great it's been a great thing. And now we got Evil Jordan from our ETH Dev is a moderator with us too, and he can really speak the language that you speak. So that's great. Okay, so let's fast forward to Karma. So Karma has gone through a rebranding at least once. It's been around for 4 years. Let's do the 30,000-foot overview of what Karma is.
Today, Karma is a place where projects and builders go build their reputation and get funded. And the ecosystems, like you can see there, there's the Optimisms, the Cello, they all use it to run their funding programs to fund these projects.
Oh my
So you can
gosh.
think of it as a two-sided marketplace in a way.
Okay, so Karma kind of handles the inner workings of like how the tokens get moved around, how the projects are, the data behind the projects, and then some of these websites kind of actually are the front end, and they show the hosting site of where it all takes
Yeah.
place. Do I have that figured out right?
Yeah. So, let me let me go a little more deeper. So there
Sure.
is these ecosystems like these Optimism and Cello, Scroll. There's Filecoin. So all these projects have give out grants and incentives. So we have a software for them to
Mm.
use our platform to administer these grants. So accepting applications, AI evaluation, funds dispersal, this whole end to end, we make it really easy for these ecosystems to administer these grants. Now, that's one end. And then the other end is all these projects who are getting funded. They are getting funded through these grants. They have milestones to hit. They have to show all the progress. They do all of that on our website, and it's all public and on chain. So this is a great way for projects to, for any project who has received grants to say, look, I received a grant. These are all the things I have accomplished. And they can build a reputation essentially on our platform. So those are the two sides of the product we have.
Fantastic. And it seems like Karma
EV
is
have,
everywhere.
yeah, that's the hope. I have a feeling EV Mavericks might already have a profile there.
Let's do it.
Um,
EV Mavericks. Oh, that's our
so,
podcast. See, check that out.
so you participated in 4
Octant. Yeah.
rounds. So anyone can go here and see what all have you participated in. if you can log in and post updates, it's a good way to like show the badge holders or the voters or whoever to say like, look, these are all the things we have accomplished. So you get more money.
Hey, well, Ben Broad is one of our community impact people, as well as 12 Meatballs. So it looks like we got some work to do here. I like it. And so this is fantastic. Yeah, we're big fans of Octant. We've used Octant a few times. I'm like the host.
Yeah.
I'm basically the lipstick on the pig, and so these other people that work with the podcast, they handle a lot of this stuff. This is fantastic. That's really cool. I actually, for the heck of it, I logged in. Ooh, you got dark mode too. Let's go. I like that. So like if I was to just start a project, okay, so I have no projects, I would have to fill out basic information about the wallet and then the grant project that I want to put together. And then I'm guessing the way I understand it, then from there I would select like which layer 2 I wanted to do it on or whatever hosting website would participate.
Yeah, so all of this information, the project profile you create, the grants you add to it, the updates you post, everything is on chain. So we have a protocol which is deployed on a multiple L2s. So you can choose what chain you want to put it on, and yeah, so that's how the whole idea of building this on the blockchain is to make it like if Karma disappears tomorrow, all of your project profile, all your information shouldn't just disappear in our database. It's on chain. Our code is all open source. Anyone can spin it up, and you have your profile. So it's portable, and it's always there.
That's really something. Way to go. Over 4,000 projects are utilizing Karma, including, and I see a familiar face here, Green Pill. Actually, Matt and Oppo from over on Green Pill this morning, they retweeted me and they had mentioned Karma over on their Discord in this conversation we're having today. So you made a huge impact. 4 years, over the last 4 years, 4,000 projects have utilized the software that you provide.
These 4,000 or 4,000 and odd projects, it's over the last 2 years because we used to build something else. So we did a pivot like 2 years ago gradually. So this is all the work in the last 2 years.
Wow, just the last 2 years. And so, like, who's your biggest users of Karma currently?
Cello are the biggest users. They have like thousands of projects. If you just go on Cello community page, if you just search Cello in the top, you can go, it's /community/Cello. Yeah, they are the your the top of your screen is cut off, but you can see the stats on the
Milestone updates, impact.
so yeah, a lot of projects use
Look at
it,
that.
and then we track all of their metrics of each project and each program you run. Every project's metrics are tracked. So we have various modules. Once you link your project, we can track all these metrics. It's great for funders to know what this project is doing, how well they are doing. Should we continue to fund them? What should we do? So projects post updates. Um, so yeah, this is we call it this on-chain resume of your project.
I see Grow the Pie. We got ETH Wave is actually on stage here. I'm peeping you guys out because I know you're on here. Just the amount of projects that you guys have helped out over the years is tremendous. Tremendous. Yeah, so it looks like Octant grants through and through here. Very cool. Yeah, and yeah, go ahead.
While you're whoever from your team, we recently pushed like a donations feature, so you can just log in and turn on donations, and you can accept all kinds of tokens and everything from publics. Like someone is listening to the podcast, they feel like this is a pretty good project. Let me go I have a bunch of tokens. Let me just donate some of these tokens. So they could just go on Karma and donate to you.
Interesting. So okay, so the EV Mavericks Dudes so for instance, this podcast, and then you would be able to. You could also subscribe to the different projects. You could be notified whenever there's a new update that's provided on Karma. So let's say we were doing something on Octant. The moment we do an update on Octant, it would also be reflected on Karma because Karma's running things for Octant. Correct? Am I following that?
Uh,
Is that a secondary effect?
It is a secondary effect. We have an integration with Octant. So Octant still runs the round and does everything, but we pull all the projects from there. Whoever participated in each epoch, we pull that information. And if EV Mavericks goes and puts these, they would still put the milestones in our platform, and it's all displayed on Octant website. So we have like a two-way link between Octant and Karma.
I see this rocket school here. I'm wondering if that's all one word. So I did the video work for this thing here called Rocket School. This is neat to see the back end of all that fundraising effort because we raised, I think we spent somewhere around $15,000 to $20,000 doing a 24-part video series on how to stake Ethereum using Rocket Pool. And we called it Rocket School. And it was it was so fun to put those videos together. I'm kind of imaginative, and I like rented a Volkswagen bus to air quote drive to school, and and it said like Rocket School on the side. I was trying to make it entertaining and meaningful for people that are of low technical caliber.
Yeah.
Close, kind of like myself. So it was really neat. We were able to get a gentleman that was kind of like a technical writer and another person that really understood how to speak Linux. And then we would put the scripts together, and then I'd fire up the studio and produce the videos. And like we got funded using your protocol for the EV Mavericks funding of the Rocket Pool Rocket School endeavor. So that's neat. We've been in each other's orbits for a lot longer than I was aware of. So thank you for being a great software developer for the world, man.
Absolutely. And you might not, I don't know if you're an admin here. So if you're an admin, there should be a button which will show up to enable donations.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't think
I can,
anybody's made me an admin anywhere on this. There.
so yeah, for EV Mavericks,
Oh, that's me. Look, that's my address. No, that's not mine. It just looks similar. Hold on. Yeah, 6824. Look at that. It looks close. It's B824. That's not me. God, that
but
freaked
if
me
you're,
out for a second.
you can log in and turn on donations and start accepting funding too from everyone.
That's really cool. And so if I click on my donations, there it is. It would show up in this window here. Oh, very neat. Yeah, this is really sweet, man. So it's 2026. Karma's undergone at least one branding change. It's pretty much had a similar story from the roots. You guys are driving the engine of a project grant funding across a myriad of different companies. What is what where do you go from here now? How do you bridge out of Web3 and figure out how to make this work for normies in Web2? Is there any plans for that? How does that work under the hood, do you think?
Yeah, so that is the goal for 2026.
Oh, really?
So
Good.
yeah, till now it was all like just like Web3 projects, and we were like trying to onboard them and make it useful to them. I think we have the engine running now. I think it's now like kind of trying to expand out. The very first, we're setting the foundations for it. The very first thing which launched earlier this week was gasless transactions.
Oh, wow.
So till now you had to have a wallet, you need to have gas to pay, you need to do all those things. But now, thanks to Privy and all this infrastructure, like we enabled email login. So it behind the scenes, it'll create a wallet for you, and you can just start creating profile and doing all those things. We pay the gas, take care of all of those. It'll feel very Web2ish. So that was already a big friction. There were a lot of refi projects. There were like so many small projects who had like no idea about Web3. They wanted to use it, but they couldn't. There was a big friction. Now that's a solved problem. Now we are talking to many, actually lots of projects and creators who don't have like much of a presence. Like some of them are like receiving like smaller grants, smaller funding. Some of them are like want to like kind of show their work.
Right.
They are like starting to use crypto, so use Karma for creating their profile, sharing updates, sharing their accomplishments, and that's the whole idea. So we're working like one niche at a time, and expanding it. And the goal is, it's not just you go create a profile. Like that's like what are you going to do with it?
Right.
So how do we get them funding? How do we help them monetize by selling their products or providing their service? That's really where we're going.
How soon or do you have any plans? I think sometimes the idea of being able to bridge crypto to the real world starts by having banking rails go from the real world to crypto. For instance, a stable coin kind of running in the background of an actual credit card transaction for some of these endeavors. Any thought to that? Is there like the plaid solution for how we can do fundraising through the Karma software, but quietly have it move from the banking institutions over to the crypto side to get the business done?
Yeah, so next week we're launching like an on-ramping solution. So all the projects, they can just say like, hey, here's my project. If someone wants to like kind of raise funds for their project, you can through crypto today with any tokens, but starting next week, you will be able to, anyone can pay through Apple Pay or
Well,
any country yet, and it gets on ramped, and you get um, stablecoin in your account.
okay, just for the people that are watching this, I had no idea that that was going to get answered that way because you would have thought I was primed to ask that question. I literally wasn't. It was just kind of like, it just felt like the natural thing. So you're saying as early as next week, people are going to be able to use Apple Pay to fund the projects that they're passionate about. And then it gets,
Mhm.
and is it kind of like spot converted over to stable coins? And then
Correct.
how do the credit card like transaction fees work for you guys? All that kind of stuff.
It's the credit card transaction fee is not under our control, so you're still paying, like if you're paying by credit card, it's 2.9. Well,
Does it come out of the donation of the recipient?
no. Actually, you, it's a little cheaper. Like we have an integration with Coinbase.
Oh, okay.
It does. It still comes out of the donor side. We could change it to get it from when you're checking out, like we are taking the payout. We could take some out there. We'll probably start it out as donors paying it because they're like, okay, like whatever, like 2% credit card fee or whatever, they'll just pay for it, instead of the projects paying for it.
Would you say that this
The,
move to be able to go from the banking rails, would you call this probably one of your biggest milestones since launch?
yeah, so the for sure, like the just making it gasless was like one big milestone
That's a
because
big
just
milestone. Yeah.
our infrastructure just wasn't set up for it. So it took
Mm.
some like it took a lot of work. And then payment flow is really the another big milestone. Our hope is we will get, I mean, stablecoin adoption, as you know, is just like growing exponentially. So hopefully we'll be in a place where people don't have to open up credit card and like pay or fund the projects. They can just stablecoin, right? I mean, there are a lot of stablecoin cards coming out, so we will support all of those.
That's that's really promising because well, let me ask. Since it's Apple Pay compatible, is Karma also an app on your phone? Is that a how does that work?
On your phone, you would just go on our website through your browser,
Just go straight
and
through the browser. Okay.
yeah, yeah. We have thought about building an app, not yet. Maybe later in the year. Now that it's fairly easy to build those things out.
Have you noticed any drop off in overall grant work or over the last like year or two compared to me? Because I just feel like there was kind of like a huge bump and then kind of a plateau. Have you seen that this any of this getting affected by you know fatigue and bull market activity and you know what I mean? How am I trying to I'm trying to answer this question in a way that makes sense. I feel like, for instance, you've been doing this for 8 years now. The first four was kind of like the honeymoon period with a new girl, right? And the last 4 years has been like the 7-year itch. And and I'm wondering if you've noticed the euphoria and the promise of the future. Have you seen any ebbs and flows over the last 3 or 4 years of being in business where certain times it's heavier than others or lighter than others? I just feel like the ability for you now to do the Apple Pay thing, hopefully that kind of reinvigorates the engine a bit. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the donating and the grant writing and stuff and everything has just gone up and to the right. I don't know. There's a lot of money flying around.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the 4 years, there's been like a lot of ups and downs. Like when we started out, it was like the DAO governance tooling is what we were building. DAOs were the hottest thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Our, our products added like a lot of value to these DAOs, so we were doing pretty well. And then DAOs kind of fizzled away. With the funding product, like last year was amazing. There were a lot of grant programs and things. Just this year, we have already seen like a few programs being shut down and some programs being they've changed the strategy. So grants, the way it used to be last couple of years, doesn't exist anymore. There's
Right.
still grants. There's still grants given out, but the ecosystems have gotten a lot smarter. I think, which is good. It's not anymore just throw spray and pray.
Yes.
There is a lot more like, okay, we are giving out these things. What are we really getting out of it? How should we change our programs? So that's pretty much all the ecosystems are kind of moving in that direction, which I think is like it's very healthy and like that's the right way to do. We ourselves are helping out like a lot of like ecosystems to do that, right? Like we have like impact measurement, like okay, you're funding all these projects, what happened? Like what did you get out of it?
Right.
They can get real-time information on that and then kind of tweak their programs. So yeah, like the way grants used to be, that era is over. It's different now.
Yeah, I remember I felt like Octant and Gitcoin, they both kind of went through the growth period of like, hey, we gotta see that these projects are actually doing something because the money was flying around and it's like shoelaces for homeless people kind of things. And it's like, how do you go around like making sure shoelaces are actually going on the homeless, or what? I'm just spitballing, like.
Interestingly, the whole idea, like the way we started this product, which used to be called Karma Gap. It used to be called Grantee Accountability Protocol. It's literally the reason we started. We was like, there's all this money being given to these projects. Like, where is accountability? Like, what is right? That's literally how we started. And then over the 2 years, like we've been working with so many ecosystems and kind of evolving the product. Now we are a full stack solution. But that was how we started out, accountability for these grant programs.
I love it. I love accountability. It makes sense. We have a podcast and we've gotten grant money, not very much, And a lot of it still comes out of our own pocket. But you know what? The proof is in the fact that we publish. And we publish on X, and we publish on YouTube, we publish on Libsyn, we go to Spotify, we go to, I mean, we have a product that you can see where it goes, and we have data metrics, stuff like that we can report back with, and we don't even really have sponsors either. So, at some point maybe we do get sponsors, but I don't want to. I'm always worried about sponsors. If you're kind of expected to deliver messages that are kind of against the ethos of like Ethereum and what we want. I got friends that'll remain nameless, but you see what happens. So, but you get it. But this has been good for us, and we've been able to most of our money is just, we don't make any money for our pocket. We just put it in like the hosting services, and because everything's a subscription. Like I think I'm subscribed to this mic right here, and I think I pay $5 a month for this cup. So the subscription based world that we live in now. it's such a joke, but here we are. But okay, so yeah, that's pretty big going from Web 2 payments, systems, bank rails stuff starting next week. I mean, dare I say, where do you see things in 2 years from now or 5 years from now? I know that everything in crypto changes, like narratives change all the time. First narrative for Ethereum was the DAO, right? And the second narrative was ICOs. And third narrative was like DAOs and governance, and everybody wanted to be a steward until nobody wanted to be a steward. And then now it's stable coins, and now it's the entire, at least in the U.S., the halls of Washington, D.C., you've never seen them talk about crypto so much. It's almost like I'm kind of pinching myself that we've finally arrived. Where do we go from here? Where does Carmen, what do you think is on the horizon? Maybe not so much for Carmen. Let's just talk generally speaking. What the impact of all of this crypto stuff? Where do you see us heading?
Just from what we are seeing with the stablecoin adoption and some of the regulations easing up in US, you see that as like the first phase is get stablecoin in everyone's hand. That will take like a few years, right? And then a lot of these experiments which did not pan out in the last few years, I think they're all going to come back.
Yeah.
And I think they will all succeed. Well, not all of them, but yeah, like a lot of the experiments will succeed, I think. Crypto has always been really good in capital formation, right? So that use case will take so many different, there will be so many different flavors of it. Mm-hmm. We ourselves are like on some of those things. Like Karma today is like, okay, you have this project profile, that's the heart of the product, but can we help these projects kind of like get money? Donations is just one part. Mm-hmm. We have like few other initiatives going on. So I think payment flow, as everyone kind of, it's consensus at this point, like the next few years is like all like just the payments and the money flow is the biggest use case. But once everyone becomes comfortable with that, that's when like the next use cases will come. Just as an example, right? So I think YouTube creators now can get paid by stablecoin.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I think the PayPal, the PiUSD or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
Now, once it's programmable money, like I can think of like ways where like there's a small creator who wants who can show their cash flow revenue on chain, maybe get like small loans from there. It'll all start on the edges, but I think it's all setting the foundation for more exciting things to come.
Yeah, because like I guess it could be one of those deals where YouTube creators that earn in PiUSD, these platforms might just want to incentivize them to hang on to the PiUSD within the YouTube platform and earn a percentage of yield for making YouTube their bank, right? Like we're kind of seeing certain kind of things like that possibly happening. And then like the YouTube creators could also just be doing super chats on YouTube using the money that's in their account without doing the payment processing back to a credit card company and giving those 3% per transaction fees away to Visa, MasterCard, whatever.
Right.
And on the YouTube front, and this is kind of tangential to this, is the heck, like Tom Lee is announcing like $200 million being invested into Mr. Beast. Well, what's that about? And I think the structure of that is to the kind of what Karma's doing, where you have like a feeless transaction and wallets that are happening in the background. Well, think about the vast number of people that like follow Mr. Beast around who could care less about they couldn't care less about how to make a real crypto wallet, but maybe there's some incentivizing structure there for his audience to have its own token. And then Mr. Beast is now this bank. I don't know. Maybe it's just an idiocracy in the making.
You never know. You never know.
I'm just spitballing. I just noticed that news. I think some people are scratching their head. Okay, well, there's two other little questions here. Karma by the end of the year, and what does success mean? I think those are kind of lame, typical questions. So let's do it this way. What are you excited about? What's the most exciting thing beyond the payment structure that's going into place next week? Maybe you could even reach back in time when you had your first big win with Karma. Like you could do it that way too, whichever way you want to. It's a choose your own adventure question.
I'll do forward looking. What I'm really excited about. So, a heart of Karma is these projects coming there, like creating their profile, having a presence, building their reputation. That was always the core of Karma, right? The reputation was the heart of Karma. It has taken different forms, but like projects have always been the heart of it, like how it has been. So what I'm really excited about is how do we help these projects succeed? That's really like whether it be a podcast like EV Mavericks, whether it be an open source project, whether it be a white coded project who just built it within a day and then put it out, which is super useful. How do we help them monetize? How do we help them grow, succeed? That that really is where we are, like where our focus is. Grants is one way to get funding. There is like other ways you can actually provide services and like kind of grow your project. So that's what I'm excited about. There's like so many ways to do it. Like exploring that part, finding what works is what I'm excited for the.
Maybe you guys could be like a new version of GoFundMe that's a hybrid payment structure platform.
Yeah, we have contemplated that. Like, it's kind of almost there. We just haven't like positioned or marketed it that way. I just have to see like what's the appetite for it, like where we are. But I think.
What about, I mean, we've already got billions and billions of dollars worth of stable coins out there. What if Karma was licensing your software to GoFundMe and it just runs under the cover and handles all the crypto rails? I don't know. Okay, that's my consultancy fee for the day is $50,000 for that idea. You can mail the check to. No, I'm kidding. But can't you see like that you guys could run as a substrate in parallel with their existing. I say all that as if I know how to do it. I don't. But if somebody was paying stable coins, it just quietly slips through the Karma gap and goes straight over to GoFundMe people. I don't know. It's kind of neat.
So if I butt in here on the consultancy side here.
There we go. Logri the Bard, ladies and gentlemen, tokenomicsexplained.com. Welcome to the chat.
I've been just quietly listening because the conversation has been flowing very smoothly without me interrupting. But
thank God.
If you want to talk about like product comparison between GoFundMe and Karma HQ or Karma Gap, I Obviously,
Correct.
GoFundMe has a lot more media about the projects, better searchability, indexing. You're allowed to set different stages, and it's tiered, right? And often comes with engagement from the creators. And there's just a lot of deeper ways to engage actively with GoFundMe than there is interactivity on Karma HQ, right?
Yeah.
Karma HQ, I've clicked through a few of these. I don't see a video link anywhere. I barely see images or even links to images. It's very much text oriented. The projects, you just go to the list of them, and where we don't even have like a line on our EV Mavericks Doots podcast, right? We just have a generic ball of weird colors, which is probably derived by the owner address, right? It's a very crypto thing. You can get away with that here. But in terms of going head to head with GoFundMe, there's clearly a lot of development between here and getting success in that segment. What I like about actually, go ahead. I'll take a break and I'll comment more.
100% agree with all the things you said, because like we just did not start out as like a GoFundMe competitor, or like even there was not even a money flow in our product. It's only like just starting now. It was purely like accountability and build your reputation for more like software projects. Only now we're kind of evolving into like something else. Agree completely. There's so much more to build if we want to go that route.
I don't really think the GoFundMe cares about crypto donations. Like, yes, we're pretty good at capital formation, but the ability to slap down a credit card has been good enough for most people. Where crypto rails really shine or excel compared to TradFi, typical interactions, is they're two-way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you put down the Visa, there's not really a good way for an enterprise to pay you using your Visa card. Like chargebacks and refunds are not really the mechanism. But if you send me USDC or something on crypto and I have your crypto address, I can just send it right back to you, right? It allows you to build symbiotic or reciprocal relationships with the customers, right? To incentivize them to do things, like we can pay out with rewards programs in really cool ways. We can have people that connect with music artists and engage with their fans and see who's at an attendance, and really get and track beyond one concert who their fan base is. And so if you want to create a Karma Gap project to fund the creation of a specific CD or whatever your project would be, you can do so on chain in ways that are not really viable to do so via GoFundMe, because you can do things like, we're going to tokenize the CD and the royalties are going to get kicked back to the people that fund it through this mechanism, right? And so we've seen things like Blau's Royale program, platform, to facilitate things like that and cut out parasitic deals with record labels. So I would figure out how to use Karma Gap to identify segments where that reciprocity is really going to be valuable to all the participants. I've identified ones like media, but you can imagine things with like video games as well, where there is the eventual sales of the product, and you can either not, if you don't have formal ownership, you can still have kickbacks, and you can use this to form a community around the project that starts at the funding level and allows you to build from there and have continuous relationships with people, which is not what GoFundMe is designed to do, right?
Yeah, that is very true. Can I ask you a question? Let's say someone wants to raise some funds for their new album they want to create, tokenize it, give like kickbacks for to supporters. These were all tried. It has been tried and it didn't
It
work.
has been tried, and it's been moderate success in some cases. It certainly hasn't been a breakthrough hit, right?
Yeah, wonder why, or what's different
Well,
now.
I think part of that is, okay, if there was better ticketing support, like NFT ticketing support, and you weren't just going head to head with Ticketmaster and their monopolistic practices, I think you would get more engagement at the because a lot of people, artists, they make more of their money from concert sales, like Taylor Swift. How much she make on her Eras tour, right? Compared to their the licensing for the music for radio or something, right? So if we could link whoever funded it to the ticket sales in a more direct way, you could have like your VIP section for your tour. You could basically extend deeper benefits to your inner circle and identify the inner circle and develop a deeper relationship with them. And narratively, I think that makes a lot of sense. On the execution side, songwriters are not usually very technical folk. And anything with Web3 tends to just assume a higher technical bar. Here, set up a private key. You've already lost 80% of America. Like, you know. So I do think that there are hurdles at the UX and the assumed technical aptitude. I think those hurdles could be achieved in some DeFi mullet type of way, where you have your fiat on ramp and your traditional Web2 style account and website and centralized experience that then uses blockchain rails on the back end and says like, okay, you've got this in your account. Well, now if you want to get these kickbacks out to your bank address, there's some additional, setup steps and engagement you have to do. But when there's already a couple $100 sitting there, you're actually motivated to do it in a way that you're not when it's just like, well, let's set up an address. Let's set up an account. There's nothing there yet, right? You need a more of a carrot, and you need more of we need to reduce the friction of setup and frankly, people are rightly scared of using blockchains, right? What are the amount of scams that we have? How many ways can you lose your money? Everything from address poisoning attacks to obscure things with multi-sig hacks to like the parity wall being frozen many years ago to even respected protocols where you put your money, like Balancer hack last year, right? That was what a 4-year-old heavily audited thing, and poof, there went tens of millions of dollars, right? So, I think that basic financial transfers and the permissionless nature of the blockchain are very exciting. And I think digital identity is very exciting, and the ability to form communities using digital identity and financial relationships is exciting. Financial sourcing, as you say, our ability to crowdsource and do capital formation is very powerful and has been since 2017. And somewhere in there is a basket or a toolbox full of useful functionalities that I think can lead to a better experience than GoFundMe. But I still think most users at the initial step are going to be slap down a credit card, find a project that they like for some reason, help to get that thing funded. And then because there's blockchains, now we can add this reciprocal layer on the long tail, right? So you fund a board game like Gloomhaven or something, they develop it, and then the backers get 10% of the proceeds of it, and they can deliver because they know who the backers are because we have the digital identity system, and it's all it's all coherently managed, the state of it on the blockchain, right? But clearly with Karma HQ right now, there's just a lot of UX work and enrichment and sort of the interactivity with the website needs to be dramatically improved before I think you're going to get much of a toehold against GoFundMe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if we have to compare with GoFundMe, it has to be like you have to have a value prop which they cannot easily build or have. A lot of the things which you said, I agree with. In fact, we were even talking to like a few creators for something we were exploring, and the first feedback was like, okay, this is like the site is right now feels like very crypto, very Web3. It's not approachable to us. So wholeheartedly agree. There's a lot of things to do. But some of the things I made notes of, like which you also shared, I would love to explore that a little more and build in that if you're open to chatting more.
I'm always open to chatting more. I'm on Discord. You can friend me here and we'll follow up.
That's Logri the Bard, tokenomicsexplained.com. He's also a technical co-host. I was just mentioning, hey, maybe there's a way Karma could do the Rails for the crypto side for GoFundMe, and then Logri goes into a whole distribution model and like an entire like how to compete in a saturated market. Always appreciated. Spitballing about projects that are days gone by. Just in the last week, pour one out for pods.media. Pods.media did tokenized podcasts. We uploaded, I swear, we've uploaded over 100 podcasts religiously to that site. Ever since the episode that I interviewed the founder, his name escapes me at the moment. I've interviewed him a couple of times. I was trying to practice good faith use of using blockchain and Web3 as best we could. We're using Farcaster the best we can. I mean, it is a tough nut to crack. The only thing I was thinking, like, what does blockchain solve? Blockchain, just in the music business alone, or any of these types of institutions where we'll use Taylor Swift. Okay, so you bought a ticket, but there's a blockchain NFT and a wallet address that rides along with the ticket to her concert, and then that token could be used to get a buy one get one free cheeseburger at McDonald's because you're a Taylor Swift fan. Those two companies are totally separated from each other, but like the proof of the NFT traveling around, like if you hold an NFT that you went to the Taylor Swift concert, then then you're able to get a matched dollar amount, dollar for dollar, or whatever the percentage is for something on Karma, right? Or it's like all those what do they call them, loyalty points, but loyalty points that could be a cross-brand promotable thing, and it doesn't rely on anybody from those two offices to shake hands about the agreement. The agreement is just that wallet address and that NFT and the value that can travel with that person's credentials, and it could even be done ZK in a way, someday. Eventually we're just going to have like whatever on our phone with the geolocation device. Once we walk through the doors at Target and we are a known person to have gone to a Taylor Swift concert, and then that person can get a slightly different price for the same t-shirt, but I don't know, probably gets into antitrust laws and all that stuff. But I don't know. I'm just spitballing like use cases for blockchain, how we can improve society, or at least create new and interesting business partnerships without a business partnership. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of something like, just spitballing. Hey, and I know we're getting to the top of the hour for you. I think you said you had a 60-minute window. Anything else we should know about? And honestly, you don't have to leave. This isn't like you have to go anywhere. We just have a second half of the show where I read Reddit, so you don't have to if you want to stick around. But anything else, Mahesh, that we should know about?
If you are a project, I would love for people to check out Karma and create a profile. We're adding lots and lots of use cases for these projects. And if you have any feedback, please send it my way. My Telegram is MURTHY or mahesh@karmahq.xyz. I don't know if you have a show notes, if you could include that too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be sure to include that. It's incredible. 4,700 projects, 6,500 plus grants tracked, 8,100 project updates in 44 communities. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's just in the last 2 years. That's not even like all time, is it? That's like the most recent stats. Excellent. I think I'm glitching out. Am I glitching out, chat? Let me know. Or is that Mahesh?
I think he's glitching out. I hear you okay.
Okay, you hear me. Mahesh, are you? Blink twice, snap once. Okay, he's there.
I'm here.
Okay.
You're cutting out. You got very robotic for a bit there, Mesh.
Okay, we're good. We good, fam. Mahesh, thank you so much for stopping by. We'll be sure to get your URLs out there. And don't be a stranger, man. And thanks again for everything that you've done for the EV Mavericks community across all of our different grants over the years, man. It's just it's a real pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm excited for the next things happening on EV Mavericks.
All right, brother. Well, thanks again. There you go, Mahesh Murthy from Karma. And yeah, been a hell of a chat. Well, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It is about time to run over to the Doots side of things here. Let's go for it. Awesome. The weekly Doots live stream is all about showcasing the best of the week from the daily general discussion on our Ethereum. It's a read-along reaction series. If you want to follow along, head to dailydoots.com, designed and produced by Hanny Abu. Big thanks to Tricky Troll for capturing and curating each day's Doots, and the A-Word for curating this beloved weekly list. Subscribe to us on all of your favorite platforms by visiting dailydoots.com. All right, let's start it off here. We're going to check out this top 10 list. Ooh, look who has joined the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Eatway from Grow the Pie is hanging out. He's going to help us out here in a little bit. We're super glad that you could drop in, Eatway. Thanks for being here. All right. At number 10, Aiden Cairo. Number 9, Ethical Trade. Number 8, Hanny Abu. Number 7, Crypto Currency. JS Tiers at 142. Tricky Troll at 168. Benito 2030 at 178. Super Fizz at 241. Luggery the Bard climbing up this week at 253. And Harog with a triple kill this last week tops out our leaderboard at 308. Excellent. Nice job, nice job, nice job. Well, I got to see if Hanny has updated the weekly roundups. No, doesn't look like it. Let me go over to the A-Word here on the old version of Reddit, which is the best version of Reddit as far as I'm concerned. Looks like we got it right here. We'll open him up. Let's rock and roll. Our Trinity, our haiku, it's Chota time, the Eternal, and the ship post of the week. Alex Keff chimes in Ethereum, and Nothing Not Never, Duder number 6, gives us a price of $3,308. And Zpoid gives us the ratio at 0.3456. Interesting ratio. JS Tiers for our haiku of the week. Political views, territory to peruse, crypto disabuse. How does he do it? How do you do it, JS Tiers? It's freaking amazing. Haiku of the week. Clam Chota says, ETH take my energy, iter adastra, with our eternal crab, with that price at $31.29. And our ship post of the week, because we always like to save the best for first. In the midst of It's So Over, I found there was within me an invincible We're So Back. That's actually pretty funny. I get that. That's really good. How does he not have a Doots score yet? I'm giving you a Doots score because the res file apparently didn't add it yet. You know what? That's just not going to happen. I'm going to give it to you right there, babe. All right. Thank you, Comprehensive Cap 1413, a Duder number 1 with our ship post of the week. All right. I'm going to switch over here to my man, Eatwave. Eatwave, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good. Just checking that you can hear me okay.
I can hear you just fine. So I'm wanting to try to do something with Eatwave from time to time whenever he can chime in from over the ocean. I'm assuming you're over the ocean. I want to call it the metric minute with Eatwave. We'll see how this goes, because I think it'd be kind of fun to have you in as our war correspondent, so to speak. And I think you've got the ability to share on Zoom. So if you want to go for that, we'll switch over to your screen and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just going to skip over to something that's maybe not so much grow the pie, but it sort of touches on the crab market thing, because I think people have this theory that we are going sideways. But if you look at sort of the down point from the big bull market that we had in 2022, we've been going upwards pretty much in a straight line to where we are now. And these upwards patterns can only last so long before either the market decides that's not the pattern on it anymore, but if the pattern lasts long enough, people are going to try and front run it. This is not like financial advice, and it's not like representative grow the pie, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't think we're in a crab market. I think we're just crawling up, and because we're living it in real time, it just seems slow. But yeah, I'll go back to maybe more grow the pie type stuff. We recently had the blob parameter fork. It's the second one since the Fusaka upgrade. And here we can see how much we've increased the target blob count per block.
Wow.
And we've increased this from 3 to 14 currently. And if I scroll down and compare this to gas, we've pretty much doubled gas in the same time. So this is like comparing blob data availability, which is like for layer 2, so how much Ethereum is prioritizing the scaling for that compared to how much it's prioritizing scaling for its layer 1 throughput. And I'll zoom in a bit more onto blobs because to give a bit more granular detail, we have actually recently had a spike here. This happened on the 13th. And this isn't actually from a chain. I believe this is from the Blobstein files, so that people are uploading the Epstein files to the blob space.
Say that again, the
100% sure on
Blobstein,
that,
the Blobstein files, is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's the thing. And it only takes like a few validators to like promise that they'll keep the data. And so yeah, although blobs are temporary, validators can choose to keep them longer term and therefore make them available. So there's novel use cases for DA as well as layer 2s. So yeah, I'll switch over to my next tab. Just touching on blobs. This isn't from Grow the Pie, but it's something I found interesting. The attestation head votes has been going down slightly as the blob count has been going up. There's going to be more research on this. It could be like timing games and things, but there are consequences to scaling. Sometimes it's like hardware requirements, but it's also how the individuals choose to react and what financial incentive games are happening in the background that aren't always predictable until they're played out. So yeah, this is something that I encourage people to read. It's on ETH Panda Ops, and I think they'll be looking at this quite a bit more. This doesn't mean that they're going to stop scaling blobs. It's just something that Ethereum just tends to be on stuff like this to make sure that we're doing stuff well. So this is a good thing that we're monitoring this. But yeah, just something to be aware of. So like AFs of the week. Ethereum mainnet recently had a transaction count AF. I think that landed yesterday. So that actually comprised of a lot of simple ETH transfers. So just transferring ETH from one address to another. The way Ethereum mainnet works is it's pretty much always running at capacity. So the amount of data not at capacity, at target. The amount of data that's going through it is pretty much constantly hitting that target. So when transactions spike like this without the gas target changing, that means that behavior is changing, and usually towards the simpler transactions. We've got a theory that this might be linked to some draining activities that are like targeting draining of ETH. But that's just a theory. We're trying to look into this a bit deeper, and then head over to Inc. Inc. have had some great app revenue, all-time highs this week as well, going over 300k, for example, and the total value secured has just reached 567 million. So that's really good to see. Heading over to Base, they've had a stablecoin supply app this week. They're approaching 5 billion, so these are big numbers. Like you can compare these to some layer ones. Starknet have also had a stablecoin supply all-time high of over 200 million, and likewise with app revenue, they've done pretty well with over 300k. Heading over to MegaETH, this happened today. So MegaETH are currently in their frontier stage. So they're onboarding applications and developers for those applications. They're not completely live to the public yet, but they did hit an all-time high of 46k TPS. So that's over like 45,000 transactions in just 1 second.
Jeez.
And this is a huge number. Like it's bigger than some chains have for a day's worth of transactions. So it's good to see that layer 2s are able to push these boundaries. And I've got a feeling, I don't want to reveal any spoilers, but I've got a feeling this number's going to get a lot bigger. So something to keep an eye out for there. Just want to touch on Octant. There's currently a round live at the moment, so that's Epoch 10. There's just over 3 days left remaining, so please make sure, if you haven't allocated already, to do so. We at Grow the Pie are available to allocate on this too, and we would love any contributions, but there's loads of great projects, like our friends at L2B are there. And we've got Funding the Commons, Zach XBT, been a follower of him for years. So you can fund multiple projects, and I really encourage you to do so, because the Octant matching is just, it's so important for a lot of these projects, including us. We don't get paid for some of those quick bite articles, like on the Fusaka thing. We don't get paid for that. We do them through public goods, and we fund that work because it takes time, and it takes like the data side. It costs money too, and we fund things like that through Octant and other public goods platforms. So yeah, we appreciate all your help on that one. How am I doing for time here? Because I don't want to overrun. I've got some other stuff I could talk on, but yeah.
No, that's good. I like this. This vibe, Heatwave, like just a little 5-minute what's going on in the world type of thing. Really appreciate you sharing this out, and we certainly hope that you can stick around and do this on the regular. I know it's a little late for you over there, but just that was perfect, because this is a real quick way for people to dive in and understand the real numbers of what's going on. So definitely help out growthepie.com. You can check them out on this latest round at Octant. I'm a patron on Octant myself. I've been there pretty much since the beginning, trying to help out all of these projects, including Grow the Pie. So thank you so much for helping out today, Heatwave. Awesome, brother. All right, good deal. Well, there we go. We're going to move on over to the ethereal news. This is another new little segment. I'm just going to read a few headlines for you to check out. Vitalik says Ethereum must pass the walkway test, add features, not halfway fixes, so we can ossify if we want to the future innovation via client optimization and parameter changes by validator voting rather than network upgrades. Heatwave, how do we swap out the view here? With the screen share, exit full screen, swap video. There it is. Oh, there you are. Okay, and you're gone. He dusted me. All right, that's good. Switch that view up a little bit. In fact, I don't even need the Zoom meeting anymore. Stand by. Groovy. All right, perfect. Okay, and let's see, moving on down to applications. A base app, the wallet plus Farcaster-based social switch is focused to trading first. Hinkle private send split across multiple recipients and time windows. The Ethereum Foundation DAI team, ERC 8004 explainer is out. Discovery and trust layer for AI agents via on-chain registries for identity, reputation, and validation. And finally, for ethereal news, we'll mention the yield aggregator. It's an automated swap created 3.7 million shortfall covered by the Treasury. And all of these headlines and more available at ethereal.news. This is episode number 7 for A.B. Kothup, fellow moderator on our Ethereum. All right, back to our weekly roundup. Let's see. Edmund Edgar simplifies what Fusaka really means for most of us. Edmund Edgar is a fellow moderator, Duder number 45 for this week. The most important thing is data availability sampling. This allows you to publish data and only have the fact that you published it verified by a subset of validators, not all of them. This matters a lot for scaling because it means the total capacity of the chain will no longer be bottlenecked by how much data you can download on a single home internet line. It won't have much of an immediate effect because the thing that it's scaling, the blobs, weren't at capacity right before the fork. But for the long term, it's a really big deal. It starts as a fairly small capacity increase, but then we can start dialing in some knobs to grow the capacity really massive. The thing most immediately relevant to regular users is the SECP 256R1 precompile. Most signatures in the cryptocurrency world use the K1 profile, which is used in Bitcoin, and that's what's mostly used in Ethereum. But browsers and smartphones and other things that don't have ancestry in Bitcoin typically use 256R1. This will help with stuff like controlling wallets with passkeys and lots of other things that need integration with things that normie non-crypto people use. And that is Edmund Edgar with the banger of the week. Stand by. I got to fix my headphones here. Yeah. Edmund's smart cookie, man, for sure. Look what I did. I got to reopen my closed tab. Sorry, it's a little wonky today. Hanny did not update the site for some reason, or something isn't working on my side. All right. I always say it's Child's P, but his first name starts with a P and his last name is Childs. Okay. A HollerCon friend of mine, Duder number 12, Childs writes, just dug through some recent developments. Let me back up. The headline takes a long look at ETH fundamentals. All right, here we go. Just dug through some recent developments on this lazy Saturday, and honestly, the fundamental case for Ethereum right now feels stronger than it has in a while. Institutional onboarding is finally happening. We're moving past the pure retail speculation phase. 2025 was a huge turning point for institutional adoption, with DATs, digital asset treasuries, moving faster than ETFs to deploy capital. The CEO of Ether.fi, thinks 2026 is the year neobanks really take off. I want to open this up. Neobanks is maybe a word I was thinking of earlier. Mike Siligadze, I think I've interviewed him. I'm sure I have, said that 2026 will shift Ethereum from speculation, combining yield, neobanks. Siligadze argued neobanks and stablecoin integration provide clearer paths to sustain adoption than ETFs.
Well, if you want to get him on the interview again, that'd be great, because we have an actual bank coming on the podcast pretty soon, right?
Next Thursday. Yep.
Yeah.
Next Thursday.
So it'd be nice if we could have kind of a stablecoin, special push that talks about, hey, here's the limitations banks are facing, here are the limitations exchanges are facing, and what do neobanks do to kind of bridge that gap? What's the market role in them? Because if you look up neobank, it just basically says it's a bank without a branch. That's basically all a neobank says. And oftentimes they actually are just kind of like white labels of banks with branches. So there's a bank that has a banking license or on their behalf, and then they use the accounts of the other bank, right? So it's sometimes it's just pass through white labeling of banks and some special rates that or deals that gives them a profit margin. Crypto neobanks, on the other hand, are quite another thing, and I'm sure Mike would love to come on and talk about that.
So I was looking through my show notes. Guess when we had Mike on? Episode 52 in January 19th of 2024, almost exactly 2 years ago. So yeah, I thought that name sounded familiar. So
Etherfi's come a long way. They got a credit card going now. They've done a lot of things.
I hope he remembers us little people down here in the podcast world, because I'd love to reach out to him and try to get him back on for some of these updates. It's always cool when people you've interviewed before, 2 years later, now they're being cited as major resources for information. You gotta love it. That's so cool. All right, moving on about the adoption and being bullish as ever, as a user Childs P has written here. Stablecoin dominance is unmatched. Ethereum is crushing. The network holds over 62% of the total stablecoin market share, recently surpassing $59 billion. Oh my gosh, in issuance. The B2B stablecoin payments grew steadily all last year, and with real-world assets expanding despite the market downturn, ETH is becoming the default settlement layer for dollar transactions. Noted that Standard Chartered noted that Ethereum accounts for roughly 40% of all blockchain fees for a reason. And moving on, the 2026 roadmap is locked in. You got Glamsterdam and Higota. I'm going to mispronounce that because I didn't listen to the call. Sorry. Core devs have confirmed the plan for this year with 2 major scaling upgrades. Glamsterdam in the first half and Higota in the second. These are the successors to Pectra and are designed to handle traffic better without spiking gas fees. Frequent, structured, technical updates equal strong network health. Yes. Developer growth and big money getting deployed. Despite the noise, Ethereum is still where the builders are. We added over 16,000 new developers between January and September. And that's beating out Solana and Bitcoin. On the corporate side, SharpLink Gaming just deployed $170 million worth of ETH. It's about 55,000 ETH to Linnea. That's serious institutional confidence. Price targets are looking up. After a rough 2025, down 10%, January is starting green. Coin Codex is eyeing a 12% jump to 34.50 soon. But some forecasts are calling for 42 to 45 by the end of the month if liquidity improves. More bullish voices like Tom Lee are even projecting a range between 7 and 9,000 by early 2026. Okay. Obviously, we need to take this with a huge grain of salt, but it's still good to see bullish sentiment. Quickly, low greed, because I hear a lot of people like dog shitting on Tom Lee and his vastly incorrect price projections, but like, dude's buying. Like he can say whatever he wants. I guess
most of the buy pressure was happening up through about October, maybe end of October. They definitely bought the dip, but the buy pressures dropped to maybe 20,000 ETH a week, I want to say, from what was previously like 120,000. So yes, dude's buying, dude's holding. Other DATs have sold ETH to restore their MNAV. He certainly hasn't. He has certainly put a lot of time going out on media tours across the world to spread awareness of Ethereum. Yes. His pitch is simple and repetitive, right? It is like he is presenting it in a way normies can understand. If you don't like that, well, just realize where he is. He's on like Squawk Box on CNBC, right?
Yeah.
They're a limit. And they'll ask him like, why Ethereum? Why not Solana? And he'll give some basic answers. And then the host will just basically hand wave that and say, well, if I ask other people, they'll give me answers that favor Solana. Right?
Yep.
As in the host didn't really even hear what he said.
Yep.
Right? Or didn't. As simple as it was, they're just not capable of processing a technically accurate and legitimate answer. Where he gets a lot of flack is he was saying like 10K end of year, and MNAV is always going to basically go up, and it should be at like 1.3 or something because like we've got 2% staking yield and PE 15 or something will mean that it should be valued at a premium, and so it should be able to expand, and that obviously has not held, right? You can view the DAT as kind of like a treasury instrument, kind of like maybe a yield indexer. If I give Tokamak a bunch of ETH, they will go and put it into places across Web3 and earn yield on it. Tom Lee will, in theory, do the same thing. And given the magnitude of their pile, they can probably get some gangster type deals. It says like, we're your biggest and basically only customer, so you need to cut us some type of kickback, bribe, tokens from your protocol and exchange, better rates, whatever it would be, right? When you're playing in the big leagues, you can negotiate a little bit more cutthroat. And I haven't seen them do that yet, but it would make sense for them to get into that business, right? The other thing that Tom Lee's got a lot of flack for is a recent $200 million investment into Beast Industries. Mm-hmm. Yeah. which I have my disagreements on the fact that it surprised everyone, right? That it wasn't really communicated that this was a strategic need of the company that they need to fill, and then they found Mr. Beast, come some weeks later, that there wasn't a whole lot of discussion over it. I understand it fits into they've communicated with investors. There is always a moonshot bet kind of strategy, right? And this fits into the 5% of their portfolio, and it is less than 5% of their portfolio. So, okay, it was communicated to investors they might do something of this nature, but I think everyone's kind of surprised by it being Mr. Beast because there's not really a native crypto alignment. So, is this one of the things where we're going to see Mr. Beast get shouting from the rooftops that like crypto is great and everyone should be using it? I highly doubt he's going to do that.
I doubt it either.
I think his podcasts are going to continue basically as they are, and maybe there will be a couple of features episodes. I really wish that Mr. Beast had been the guest on stage after the Q&A section. They brought on the CEO of Lighter instead, which I am told that several of the BitMine board members literally fell asleep in their chairs, and God, I almost did too. That was not a lively interview. Let's just say that was pretty painful to watch at times. So I think Mr. Beast certainly could have brought the charisma that the CEO of Lighter did not. His name evades me, but
and then dump 1 million ping pong balls on the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the type of charisma.
There's your NFT drop. It's like a QR code.
Yeah, everyone has a unique QR code, and then there's all the people and they get the footage of the match. Whatever. It would have been a sensation, right? It would have gotten the views. We know that. But I don't know why, if you give someone $200 million, they couldn't at least show up to your event and would have been a much better guest than the one they had.
I hear you. So I just feel like it's under wraps what they're gonna do.
Okay, well, we can speculate a bit. So
sure.
Does the man have outreach? Yes. Can you monetize that outreach to benefit ETH and Bitminer? I don't really see how or that's going to happen. Can Beast Industries 10x its own internal value? I don't know. Maybe. This is not really my type of portfolio, right? I'm not a portfolio expert on that type of segment nearly as much as I am for DeFi and financial instruments, right? I'm more in the economics and he's more in the media and a sphere of things, right? So it's to say it came out of left field is, I think, a fair criticism.
Mm-hmm.
To say that it wasn't communicated and discussed with investors in advance of them buying the BMNR stock is, I think, a fair criticism. I've seen a fair number of people on ETH Finance and in support subreddits and Twitter, at least claiming that they've sold out because of this, sold all their shares because of this. So it's been received on net, and I don't have a full statistic of it, but on net, it seems to be received mostly negatively.
Yep.
And I think a lot of that's just because of the surprise of it, right?
Yep.
If he had in advance said like, oh, we want to reach, the youth, and we think that we have the inroads by ourselves to reach institutional clients because, Tom Lee has those connections, but we need help on reaching Gen Z and millennials and whatever, because those are not where our market segment is. And then they'd come out and said, and this is why we've done Mr. B. This is a couple weeks later, after people had a chance to digest and offer alternatives, that would have been received better. But just being a surprise, being under the moonshot bet, and then coming in kind of after the fact and trying to justify, and the justification was not a rock solid presentation, I'll say. He pumped up like, okay, this guy has as many views as the Super Bowl. Great, but how does that help BitMine, right? Like, it might be a fine investment on a standalone basis. You can argue that or not, right? Tom Lee might believe that. But is it synergistic with BitMine? Should BitMine be using its treasury to do that investment compared to anyone else that could do that investment, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I don't know. So I think there are fair criticisms of how it was handled and of the investment itself, and questions that investors are asking are reasonable as to why it should be BitMine that made this investment compared to any other capital source. But it is done, and like it or not, and I'm told the vote to authorize the issuance of more shares is, it's not finalized yet, but I'm told from internal sources that that's going to pass, or looks like it's going to pass. So, they're going to carry on. Whether they dilute shareholders, whether they treat their shareholders well or not, those shareholders have voted to retain Tom Lee, have authorized a compensation package for him, have authorized more shares. So, majority of the people that have bought in and still have those shares are more happy than not with the way they're being treated. And if the way they're being treated is going to lead to buying more ETH, well, you and I are here for it. We were down at 1,500, right? Before, like, the ETH price was at 1,500 before the DATs came in and bought 4 million ETH. Yeah. So where would we be if we're at 3,000 now? If we didn't have that buy pressure, if they had turned around and sell to protect their MNAV, right? Presumably lower. I'm still amazed that they could pull 4 million ETH OTC and not affect the price more than that, given the data we have on the price elasticity of ETH in previous bear and bull markets, right? If you look at how much money the ICOs were actually able to pull out from Ethereum with their ETH reserves, well, it was just not as much as you think. They raised a certain amount of money. Let's say they raised, 10, 50 billion dollars, whatever, right? How much were they able to actually extract? About 1/7 to 1/10 of that, right? So every dollar of ETH they sold was crashing the Ethereum market cap by 7 to 10x that. And so the amount they were able to actually capitalize on those ETH-raised treasuries during the ICO era was markedly lower. If you look at the effect of DeFi and whatnot in 2020, you can see a similar ratio. On the upside, how much did it take in inflows to raise the ETH market cap back to all-time highs of about 1,400 at the time? It was about, that 7 to 10x ratio held. So the data that we have, and these are hard signals to get, the data we have of price elasticity of the Ethereum market cap from the DAT raise was like 3 to 5 to 1. So why is it suddenly so much? Why are we able to pull so much more? For whatever reason, people are willing and able to part with giant globs, hundreds of millions of ETH.
What was the supply back in the ICO days versus today? Also, wasn't it like 75 million tokens?
No, we launched it over 100.
We launched over 100. Okay.
And
for some reason I thought we were under.
It's inflated up to this 120 mark, and we seem to be bubbling around there. It hasn't changed much since 2020.
Gotcha. Well, so yeah, I guess there just was no retail help also, because there was retail buying those tokens during those ICO days, much more than there were.
But a whole bunch of retail obviously came into buy being Bitmine stock, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that money was able to acquire more ETH than if you'd gone to Coinbase and Kraken and bought it, off the depth chart. Clearly, there was just a lot of supply overhang that didn't have liquidity to exit and found the liquidity to exit through BMNR, right?
Yeah,
that's evident enough. So I don't know how big that supply overhang is. Could it be another 20 million ETH? I don't know. It's by definition OTC, right?
We'll see.
So we don't have a signal for it, but I am surprised that he was able to source 4 million ETH while only increasing the Ethereum price from around 1,700, 1,500 to 3,000, 4,000.
Well, if he like solo YOLO'd our market cap up 100%, I'm not mad. But I agree. The greedy part of me is like, we were supposed to be at 10K, like where's all the, anyway, going just briefly.
I'm not greedy. I'm just saying I have, I think, are my criticisms of him. And I have, I think, as my praise of him.
Yeah.
I think the market is better for him than not. I don't think he's a Sam Bankman-Fried type character that's eventually going to be caught up in irresponsible scandal and meth-fueled drug orgies and stuff, right? I just don't get that impression. Whereas I have, let's not knock meth-fueled drug orgies, really?
Well, I'm wondering, just quickly, I'm going back, and I'm just making a comment here. It'll be interesting to see what this relationship is with Mr. Beast, because I'm not like a fan But I will say the dude has built a massive empire.
You're not his demographic, man. Of course you're not a fan.
But I do
me.
watch some of his content because I'm amazed. I'm just really amazed at like his business is give it all away multiple times over. And it keeps building.
You're talking about these charities?
Let me finish. What he did manage to do is he did manage to get a series on Amazon Prime. And they've invested a bunch into him. So it's not the Beast Enterprises is almost becoming it's becoming less about Mr. Beast, the brand and the man, as it is the business relationships with the other people in that enterprise. And I think that BM&R is looking at that as a side venture of exposure, and it remains to be seen exactly what it looks like. But man, they could tokenize a bunch of tickets and put them in those chocolate bars in Walmart, and it's a blockchain provable golden ticket to go to the Beast games or whatever, because you can't disprove the value of the NFT. You can't print the golden ticket and fake it. It's
having access to the end customer is a very valuable thing.
And like I was saying earlier, like holding a beast token thingy might get you, 10% off at a movie theater for a totally separate, unrelated film, because there's the hangers on of like, oh, you got a beast token in your wallet, I don't know. So we can move on from there. But anyway, it's getting people talking.
If that was the direction of it, I wish that Tom Lee had used his opportunity on stage to highlight those potential benefits.
Gotcha.
He did not.
He did not. There you go. Well said. Thank you. Switching back over, user Watch Dominion Now, Deuter number 6, considers Ethereum through the lens of psychology of money. Deuter number 6, Watch Dominion Now, writes, I was reading The Psychology of Money on the plane a few days ago, and one interesting thought was about how the author believes that bubbles form. People have different investment timelines. Some invest for a time span of decades. Others invest because they want to turn a profit in 1 week. One actor is not more rational than the other. They just have their own perspective and preference. Bubbles form when the pool of investors in a certain asset becomes weighted more towards short-term investors chasing momentum and being perfectly rational in doing so, than towards long-term investors who bought the asset because they believe in it and want to see it grow. When the market turns, those short-term investors will drop the asset on a dime, as they never really had a strong belief in it. I believe that. I think what's happening in ETH is a bit of the opposite. After years of bullying, pain, inexplicable price action, OGs dropping out, we are building an investor base that is absolutely rock solid, like granite. If you're still here, you must really believe in this thing. I believe that treasury companies are the most obvious and public manifestation of an underlying reality, which is that the ETH investor base is more and more made up of actors who believe in the long-term success of the asset and who will hold through thick and thin.
I love it when a plan comes together.
And the momentum investors, retail, etc., well, they'll come back at some point. There will be some catalyst. And once that catalyst is there, there will be a very, very thick, strong base that is not selling anytime soon. In other news, about 5 years after I first started and another year or so since I quit, I have recently joined the entry queue to become a solo staker once again. I wanted resource-efficient minority clients, and I'm running Reth and Nimbus, and I can't wait to be live. Wow, that's a good post. I kind of agree with the general direction of that. I mean, if people are still here after all of this time, they must have some kind of conviction. All right. I see we got Logri coming up.
We would lose a great researcher.
A great mind.
And he's not just writing about Ethereum, he's writing about collusion systems.
I'm going to take a drink.
That would be a tremendous loss to the world, but the Ethereum machine would just keep chugging. Just keep chugging. Just keep chugging.
This music break brought to you by Alexander.
Just keep chugging. Just keep chugging.
Hope you guys are having a good Friday. All right. I recently watched this talk, Logri the Bird writes, by Cory Doctorow. He's an EFF activist and has been fighting for our rights for like 20-something years. So much of this talk is on sovereignty, whether it's national sovereignty such as national defense, corporate sovereignty such as jailbreaking devices, or personal sovereignty such as the right to repair electronics or John Deere tractors, I'll interject. He comes across as passionate about creating more resilient, economical, and equitable societal outcomes. So much of the ethos of Web3 is present in his philosophy, but the only reference to cryptocurrency in the whole talk was stocks, shitcoins, and casinos. But I repeat myself. There were points where I just wanted to scream at the screen that we can help with that. By virtues, this guy should be an ally of ours, but he's probably only ever been exposed to the scammers that swarm the periphery of our ecosystem, which is all too common a situation. We seriously needed something like Etherealize 4 years sooner to treat public perception of Ethereum as more of a public good and less as the full-time job of people like Sassel or Hoffman. I'm talking to DAI, that's DE, Decentralized AI founders, regularly. And the common message is to lean into words like control, ownership, and resilience more, and to avoid the word blockchain entirely. It's really a sad state of affairs that we can utilize blockchain solutions to improve things like resilience, but we can't openly talk about utilizing blockchain solutions in any business or customer interaction. Anything Web3 has to be abstracted as much as possible away behind a Web2 interface before it become palatable. Neobanks this year will be offering DeFi access through Web2 front ends while avoiding any mention of blockchain as hard as they can. They'll use terms like, quote, fully regulatory compliant back-end financial systems, unquote. Because if you say Ethereum, almost the best thing that will happen is people won't have heard of it. Decentralized AI systems will be using terms like, quote, proof of control, unquote, to market, even when that proof is using mechanisms like tokenization for model ownership. It's frustrating. Nice write-up, Logri. Good job. It is frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It's
not even just remember the whole like hashtag say Ethereum wave? It's not even just that, right? It's in 2017, it was what Arizona Tea Company put blockchain at the end of their name or something. One of the tea companies that had nothing to do with blockchain just added blockchain to their company name, and the stock went up like 40%, right? Now the pendulum has swung so far the other way that if you add blockchain to your name, you probably lose 50% of your market share, right? Doesn't change the product, fundamental, financial, anything about that, right? Just being associated with blockchains is a net negative. Even if we have all the technology stack to do it better, do it cheaper, treat retail users better, improve control, improve transparency, even if we add privacy and guarantee privacy, even if we can,
right.
wider global market. Take all those benefits, and it doesn't matter. It'll still drop your market cap by half. Don't need you give it to the marketing guy, and they will strip every and all reference to anything blockchain to make it more palatable for sales.
Well said. Yep. Just pure facts. User Edmund Edgar covers the introduction of capital controls for some in the United States. My desk is up too high. Here we go. U.S. is doing capital controls for welfare recipients. Welfare is Edmund Edgar, duder number 45 for the week. Besant writes, for individuals who want to wire money out of the country, they're going to have to tick a box whether they are or are not on public assistance. Then we're going to start pushing over the coming days and weeks that if you're on public assistance, you cannot wire money out of the country. I'm not totally clear what, quote, public assistance, unquote, means. This is Edmund Edgar writing. But Claude AI says SNAP benefits is 41.7 million people. If it also includes Medicaid, that's another 67 million, partly overlapping with the SNAP recipients. Well, that's quite a lot of people who may suddenly need crypto. I wonder if there's anything we should be doing to help them find out how to do it and to avoid getting scammed. Okay, I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to give it a upvote, but I am not going to expand on that because I don't know enough about it. I can see the rub, though. All right, and A.B. Kotha from Ethereal News is a fellow moderator, welcoming in a new moderator, Evil Jordan. I've had the pleasure of kind of getting to know Evil Jordan in the mod chat, and that dude, he seems fun. We've known each other. He's been around for a long time. But then when I started really getting to know him, it's like, yeah, he's a character. And really genuinely good person, I think, to have as a moderator for our Ethereum. He's already a moderator for ETH.
Twist his arm. Mm-hmm. Get him to come out to ETH Denver or something and attend one of your barbecues, and we can hang out.
I would love to. In fact, on that note, I'm not going to make it to ETH Denver this year. I know that sucks. Womp. It totally sucks. But it's for good reasons. My wife and I have one child left at home, and then we're going to be empty nesters. And the school where she attends, there's a parent. There's like a social dance for the school. They want me to. They want me to DJ, but it's more about the fact that my daughter and my family, we're all going to be at the dance together having a good time. So I'm going to have to cancel for this year. But there will be barbecues in the future, and I'm going to try to get Evil Jordan to come hang out because he seems pretty chill and a lot of fun. And since their ears are burning and they're in the audience as well, another new moderator that did not get the welcome on Reddit that Evil Jordan did is 12 Meatballs. So 12 Meatballs is joining the moderator team as well. She is such a fantastic writer. She's also a show contributor for the Doots podcast and has been helping out Tricky Troll for the last, seems like 2 or 3 weeks, helping to make sure that those daily Doots still keep coming in. So hats off to 12 Meatballs for coming on board as well. And I already knew she was awesome.
Congratulations to you both.
Yeah, I already knew she was awesome. So I snagged her, man. I was like, you got to come. Well, I don't know if I want to. You're going to do it. You'll be fine. It'll be great. So thank you so much. All right, Harog, here we go. Duder number 308, top of the list, explains how we end up increasing layer 1 throughput over the last couple of years. Harog writes, gas limit for blocks doubled within a year and more to come. In 2024, some Ethereum community members and researchers started to demand more L1 scaling by increasing the gas limit. A whole movement started around it, which was pumpthegas.org. Their argument was that there wasn't any explicit increase in many years, and the implicit one during the merge was rather small, like 7% or so. Hardware has become better, internet bandwidth increased, and most importantly, some clients have become much more efficient. Ethereum gas target increases are voted on by validators, so it is a rather cumbersome and slow process. Core devs also first had to come to consensus what increase is safe to do and at which points in time. Some benchmarking has been done in spring of 2025, which continues for the foreseeable future, and some critical bottlenecks have been removed. Within 1 year, we increased the gas limit from 30 million to 36 million on February 4th of 25. Then to 45 million on July 22nd of 25, until it was increased to 60 million on November 26th of 25. blocks are still full, actually half full. So all the available block space is used, but because there is more now, price dropped massively. The increased block space on rollups further reduced bidding wars on mainnet. In the future, there still is the goal to increase the gas limit by a factor of maybe 2 to 3 per year for a few years until we reach something around 20 billion gas per block or equivalent in a ZK future. We will see how long it takes to get there. Okay, Tiny Height 1967 and JT, oh, that's me, share a collection of posts from Vitalik here on Reddit. Okay, it looks like Tiny Height, Duder number 10, shared a bunch of the posts that Vitalik shared on the main page. I'll just say this, not to toot my horn, but in the mod chat, I was lamenting a bit how nice it would be if Ethereum Foundation people could come back to posting more regular, especially Vitalik, on Reddit again, because it's been almost 3 years. And so then he did. And he did 8 posts. And he said, he said in the chat, I'm not going to screenshot anything, but he just said, yeah, we really should be more active on Reddit. Thank you so much.
I love it when a plan comes together.
We'd love to have you, Vitalik. Thanks for taking the time to come back to Reddit, because this is where the conversation used to be, and I think it's still great to have a conversation in a walled garden with good moderating. And, get the core Ethereum discussion, at least at the very minimum, just copy and paste the body of some of your posts or tweets or whatever. Not just Vitalik, but like anybody in the EF. I mean, it's just a great place for long form discussion. It's easy to search for, somewhat easy to find things after it gets stored on Reddit. So it's just easier than X to find things. But
it got some decent discussion. I mean, not just a lot of upvotes, right?
Yeah,
some of those posts got some decent discussion. I even cross-posted one of those discussions over to the daily because we went back and forth for like 2 days on the topic of stablecoins and thought there was a lot of good topic content there.
That's great, man. Yeah, that's great. I think we're about done here. Yeah. All right. It looks like DeFi Saver has the latest DeFi Saver update. Nicola J. Speaking of Mahesh having a common name, 5 members of the DeFi Saver team have the name Nicola or Nicola. I don't know which side of the word gets emphasis. But anyway, it says that Nicola posts, I haven't posted anything interesting in a while, but we've had the biggest news of DeFi Saver in a long time just go live today. We've partnered with SummerFi, also a previous guest of the show, who will be winding down their pro management app in order to fully focus on the Lazy Summer protocol and its AI-powered yield hunting vaults. If there's any Summer Pro users here, you can access and manage your positions at DeFi Saver as of today, and you can keep me as a contact for any questions whatsoever. Let me open up these tweets here. I'm going to give them a little bit of love. Hats off to the DeFi Saver team. Hats off to the SummerFi team, and let the Lazy Summer protocol and AI-powered begin. All right. I think that's it. We good? We good, fam? Thanks again to Mahesh Murthy for joining us from Karma today. And thank you to, thank you to ETHWave from Grow the Pie for coming in and doing a little update. We're going to try to add ETHWave at least 5 minutes every now and then. He may pop in, may not, but I always like to acknowledge our friends over there at Grow the Pie. Acknowledge AB Kotha from Ethereal News. He's on issue number 7. Make sure you go subscribe to him on Substack. Make sure you subscribe to us at dailydoots.com. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the EV Mavericks Discord, the R Ethereum Daily General Discussion, my name is JT. Cheers and big hugs from Kansas City.